Thank you for all of your questions regarding Vampire Dynasty. You ask, we answer. Let's go. 20 people are currently working on the Vampire Dynasty. The largest part is the 3D art department, which has 5 people. Additionally, we have 3 programmers, 2 level designers, 2 animators, 2 concept artists, 2 internal testers, a CEO, a producer, a composer, and a sound designer/composer. Some guy that looks just like me. As for the game design, many of the people mentioned have a hand in it, but it's up to the CEO and lead designer Michał Ciastoń to wrap it up into a coherent piece and outline the direction. It is extremely difficult to tell a satisfying story in a pure sandbox formula. In the Vampire Dynasty, we play a defined character in a defined world. We meet NPCs who have their own backstories and aspirations. But of course, the players can influence this world and explore it at will to uncover its secrets. And most of all, this approach to the plot allows for some heavy moral choices, which we have lots of in the game. The players focus on building a castle, including chambers and workstations for the Dynasty members, and prisons for the thralls. The players can influence every element of the castle, from the type of the walls to the patterns that can be painted on them. All this is done to give the players absolute creative freedom. The higher your dynasty level, the more NPCs you can transform. Except for plot characters and vampire hunters, you can bestow the kiss of eternity on any resident of Sangavia, who will then turn into a child of the night and serve faithfully in your castle. The players can expand their influence not only by turning people into vampires, but also by abducting humans and keeping them in the castle. Imprisoning thralls in order to frequently obtain blood from them is a simple way to make the existence of a vampire easier. You will be able to influence the appearance of your character by choosing its outfit. As for a wider change of appearance, we would like to introduce this, but we don't know at what stage we will be able to do it, if at all. But we will look into that. A character's advancement is determined by the level of their dynasty. The players increase it by progressing the storyline or completing quests related to the castle development. The higher the dynasty level is, the higher the capabilities of the characters are. Higher dynasty status gives the players access to new items to build, and most importantly, allows them to create more vampires. Equipment, found while exploring, also increases the capabilities of your character. Importantly, in the game we have 2 outfit types, which the players can alternate between. When wearing the aristocrat's attire, the character pretends to be a noble person who manages local lands. And as a hunter, they can hunt without fear of being detected. Is the game combat heavy? Absolutely not, if you don't want it to be. You play as Dragus, who, in addition to being a vampire, is the ruler of the surrounding lands. There is a village near the castle where his peasants live. The players can treat them well, as benevolent aristocrats supporting their livelihood, and from time to time drinking the blood of the dangerous or sickly Medresti residents. They can also murder whoever they want. The choice is theirs. In creating the Vampire Dynasty, we want the players to feel that they are on the top of the food chain. As a result, fighting average people is not demanding at all. However, situations get more complicated when your bold actions attract the attention of vampire hunters. Vampire Dynasty is inspired by the mythology and the pop culture associated with the vampires, keeping some elements and adapting others in a creative way. One of those elements is the transformation into a bat, which isn't really a transformation at all. Vampires once ruled Sangavia, and during their era, many artifacts were created that combined magic and science. One of these artifacts were bat statues, which the players can bring to life and control with blood. In this way, the players can explore the area around the statue, getting into places that were not accessible from the ground. This mechanic is used for minor puzzles that are scattered around the world. The vampires in Sangavia are much stronger and much more agile than an average human, and they are immortal. Unfortunately, the light of the sun burns their pale skin, and they need blood to survive. Players won't have to worry about garlic or whether someone has invited them into their home, which doesn't mean the game can't feature vampire clans that have such restrictions. For the first time, we are dealing with a game that breaks out of historical realities and introduces a fantasy element. Second of all, Our building system is significantly different. After all, you aren't building a village, but one big castle, which can look just the way you dreamt of. Last but not least, we put a lot of attention into the story aspect. If the story doesn't interest you, go ahead and focus on building, exploring, gathering resources, or hunting. But if you're planning on soaking up the story, we got you covered with a plot full of well-rounded characters, plot twists, and tough choices, and it's all available in co-op. That's it. Keep the questions coming. See you soon for more information about the Vampire Dynasty.